Happy Monday, everyone. Time for another live commentary. For today, we're taking a look at another one of these suggestions from my website, this one between Inez Boubakri on the left and Ueno on the right. So let's do this. 3, 2, 1, play. Now, this is from last year's World Championship, the 2018 one. I believe I actually covered Boubakri's round of 16 bout after this, so she will win this bout. At the time, though, Ueno, who I covered also pretty recently, was 16, and Inez was about twice her age. So really, youth and enthusiasm versus Asian experience here, as Inez comes out with a close distance riposte off target. Oh, Ueno misheard that. Crowd is a little bit loud, so perhaps they couldn't hear the referee. As we may remember from way back when I covered Inez's previous bout, she does like this pretty quick march with her blade pretty withheld in 4. Goes off target with her finish this time. Inez keeps marching. Finishes pretty short. Ueno escapes. Ueno starts. A little bit slower. But this is pretty much identical to her style that we saw in her bout against Pauline Hall V. Some infighting. Not the best. Close combat is probably neither of these fencers' main strengths. It's more the marching type thing. Okay, Ueno keeps marching, taking the blade a lot. That's probably still Ueno's beat off target, though. It has straightening her blade on the side of the strip. The glowing panels are pretty cool. Alright, Ueno beats, starts. Inez right on the end of the strip. Oh, manages to slip through a counterattack as Ueno's, I think, a little bit distracted looking for the blade there. That's very nice. Inez's point control in that situation is, of course, very good. In fact, her point control in most situations is very good. Inez marches quick and finishes long. That's probably Inez's like bread and butter touch right there. If she can get away with it, she'll go for that every time. But we'll see if Ueno can figure out anything to do with that march to disrupt it. There's an attempted attack shortly off the line by Ueno. She starts again. Now Inez. Again, okay. Ueno tries a stepping in counterattack. Pretty nice idea. Inez's march does tend to be fairly even tempo throughout the entire duration of it, so maybe a little bit more vulnerable to a counterattack. Ueno, with her blade a little bit too withheld that time, Inez slips into counterattack, goes off target. Ueno with a long lunge. Tries a remise as well. Inez eventually goes off target. The light at the bottom was a bit late that time. So it looks like Ueno's main thing to stop Inez from getting her march off is to just stay really close and prevent her from starting it. As there. Not sure if that was technically Ueno's parry or post or if that was a remise by her, but it's one light, so doesn't even matter. Also, that infighting touch that she does with her blade in 4, but angling back over her front shoulder is also something that we saw a bit in her bout with Pauline. Pretty interesting that this bout took place way before the previous one of hers that I covered, so any analysis I do based on the previous bout will actually be retroactively flipped in time, if that makes sense. Alright. Oh, Ueno misses! Again, it looked like she was trying to go for that same infighting touch, but her blade got trapped there. Alright, Ueno keeps marching. Inez gives her plenty of space. But Ueno gives up her finish and lets Inez march, so she must have a plan here. Nope. That's not it. Ooh. Is the ref trying to call that Ueno's parry or post? I don't know, I didn't hear any blade contacts there, and it didn't look like Inez stopped at all. I might ask for a video review there. To be honest, doesn't look like Inez is going to, though. Okay, Ueno escapes from Inez's attack offline, finishes long, there we go. Inez tried to counterattack, not much of a distance crush though with it. She was still kind of stationary, so not really the best distance. Ueno keeps taking the blade and marching. Finishes, now Inez starts, gives it up. Ueno starts, gives it up. Inez starts. Is she going to get going? Yeah, okay. Takes the blade again. Finishes long, but Ueno escapes. Gets in close. This is better for Ueno, I think, but no. Inez with the riposte off target again. Okay, long finish there by Inez. I feel like Ueno's crushing the distance, even though maybe the close distance isn't the best for her. I think she still prefers it to it. Inez being able to march for free. Ueno starts again. Inez gives her a lot of space here. She's clearly unafraid of being pushed back. Oh man, Ueno finishes compound very nicely but goes off target. She is able to get around Inez's searches though, which is very nice. Finishes long again, breaks in the distance. That's Inez's riposte off target, surely. Oh, okay. Ueno says maybe her first riposte was no. Be nice to see the slow motion, but of course we don't get that luxury here. Referee is going to have a look, and meanwhile Inez is going to tie her shoe. Now, you might think she could save tying her shoe for a more tactically opportune moment to take a bit of a break, but if your shoe is untied, it is a bit of a safety problem, and quite uncomfortable usually, so just going to get that taken care of. Okay. Referee upholds the call, so it's... or rather, doesn't uphold it, switches it for Ueno, so that's a great call by her. Apparently, Inez's first riposte was no. Ueno keeps marching. Inez takes the blade and starts. Oh, again, Ueno doesn't really even need to crush there because Inez's march is so quick on its own. Ueno can basically just stop and let Inez collapse the distance for her. Again, not really able to convert it into a touch, though. Both of these fencers aren't the best in close. Inez is really favoring that same preem line when she does infight, but hasn't been able to really make it work yet. Okay, Inez with a long lunge. Ueno escapes. Finishes long again. Inez escapes. And there's the remise. Nice. So yeah, Inez's tendency to march immediately when her opponent's attack falls short. Ueno flips that on its head and stays in distance and just hits as Inez tries to start marching. Very nice tactic. Attempted foreflick by Ueno, then switches to the outside line for a reprise. Goes off target though. Okay, Ueno keeps marching. Time is slowly ticking down. Inez finishes long, goes off target. Also, that lunge felt pretty long for the distance again. Ueno's being very sneaky, catching like creeping up on her. And there's another twisty counterattack. Right as Inez starts, too fast. Definitely feels a bit like Inez is rushing now. Which is never good to do so early in the bout when things are still a little up in the air as to what your opponent might try. Okay, Ueno takes the blade. Oh, there we go. That's a very nice parry post in close. That distance hasn't really benefited either fencer up until this point. And looks like we are going to give up on this period for both fencers and go to our first break. So very nice showing by Ueno. It was still kind of ambiguous who had the tactical advantage right up until the end there when Ueno scored with a beautiful remise and then a beautiful counterattack and then a beautiful parry post right in close in pretty quick succession. Did feel like that was facilitated a bit by Inez going a bit fast. If Inez slows things down a little bit, she'll probably have a much better time hitting with her attack, not having to worry about Ueno suddenly blasting in. We saw that Ueno, despite her pretty good acceleration with her footwork, she pretty much let Inez do all the work of collapsing the distance for her and just stopped moving back. That was her main means of getting closer when Inez is marching. If Inez goes super slowly, Ueno's going to have to do more of that work, and that opens her up to some more options for Inez. On the other hand, Inez might decide to just double down on the speed and go even faster and not even give Ueno a chance to counterattack. Knowing her tendencies, Inez's, I would probably lean towards the first option for her. She's definitely able to slow things down when she needs to. Alternatively, she may just stop attacking. Her defense is also very good, although we haven't seen much of it yet this bout. She's got some great parry post stuff she can do. But second period, let's see if anything major has changed. Looks like Ueno's still giving her attack up. Taking the blade a lot, though. Okay, Inez finishes short. Goes off target, though. So it looks like she's going a tad bit slower. She's not really rushing, but she is still moving pretty quick with that those first few steps. Does keep the blade a little closer to the target, though, enabling her to get an off target there. Even though Ueno had about the same distance thing as before. Again with that attempted pre-remise by Inez. Still off target. Eventually one of these will hit, I'm sure. Ueno marches. Oh no, she's almost off the strip. Infighting, and there we go. Yeah, Ueno had really no options there. She had no choice but to stand and fight because she was going to fall off the strip otherwise. And, yeah. That's one way of doing it. Just force your opponent. Oh, attempted ducking counterattack by Inez. Ueno missed the first one. When she tried the second one, looked like Inez took the blade there. Yeah. So, interesting. Not really even a false counterattack, just a counterattack that failed into a parry post. So maybe a little bit lucky there for Inez that Ueno didn't hit the first one, but still very nice. Ueno finishes long, kind of giving it up. Or Inez does, rather. Ueno starts now. Again, finishes long, but too long. Goes flat on Inez's front shoulder as she kind of stops moving back. Kind of doing the same thing Ueno did on defense back at her. Although Ueno's finish feels much more almost Russian in its length. From a slow march to a very long and very straight finish compared to Inez. There it is again, yeah. Actually, yeah, I like that comparison. Ueno feels like a very young and very Japanese Timur Safin, honestly, with that tempo of marching into finishing. It's very good. Inez does have quite a few options, though, on defense. We haven't seen that many of them, actually. I don't know why she's not bringing out some more craziness. That light was pretty late. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, Ueno starts. Finishes short. Inez does get the blade, though, and her riposte is off target. So it looks like stationary parry riposte is probably going to be the name of the game for Inez at this point. Long march into a long finish. Ueno escapes, though. Ueno's long lunge. Inez escapes. Now Inez marches. Tries to finish in close on the outside again, but goes past. Again, Ueno, all she had to do was just stop moving backward, and then Inez already is kind of past the optimum place to hit from before she can get the point on. Alright, Ueno starts again. Very slow. Wait for the finish, though. There. Oh, false finish, long finish. There it is. Inez, wise to it, though, escapes. And again, Inez, stationary parry post. She's already at the perfect distance, so if Ueno just finishes simply into it, Inez will eventually hit this riposte. Okay, Ueno keeps marching. Finishes long, goes off target, though. Inez tried another ducking counterattack. Didn't work well the first time, although she did get a parry post afterward. I feel like it's not really the best setup for anything. Ooh. Inez tries to blast in, goes off target again. Her point control has been pretty, honestly, not great this bout. She's hit a few really nice touches, to be sure, but, like, in terms of total percentage of her actions that have hit, it's not been that high. Ueno, gets an off target on her first step in. If she hadn't got that, she probably actually would have hit that. Her blade was in the right place. Ueno keeps going. Finishes long. Okay, Inez is really scrambling to search there at the end of the line, and she is really good at that super fast searchy type thing. Ooh. Guess the referee says that simul. Did feel pretty together, tempo-wise. I wasn't really watching the arms, though. I was watching the feet, so not totally sure. But yeah, Inez's defense, which is really, like, lots of searches really quickly. We saw Ueno actually get around them pretty well with some disengages before. I'm not sure if she'll be able to replicate that every time. Okay, goes off target there. Inez didn't search that time, though. She just backed up. Oh, infighting again. Ueno finds the blade, but they stop. Okay, Ueno takes the blade. Oh, there we go. I'm pretty sure that was technically Inez's counterattack, even though it was a very strong lunge. Because Ueno was the last person to take the blade. But that angulation from Inez was pretty cool. Ueno was kind of trying to finish in preem, but Inez's blade was right in the way, so it's kind of an opposition touch. Counterattack with opposition, maybe. That's Inez's finish off target. She's going to test. Yeah, so Inez has also been, she's left-handed, and she has been pretty set on this outside target, trying to hit around the outside of Ueno's arm. That worked once, but mostly it's been off target. Ooh, stop hit. Very nice. Yeah, so Ueno's march that time, her blade was a little bit out of alignment. If she just made a pretty strong lunge from that distance, she probably would have caught Inez, but she didn't. So, parry post from the right, yeah. Okay, Inez is going to ask for video review here. I still think that goes to Ueno, though. Honestly, that one felt more cleanly Ueno's than the previous one, where she didn't ask for video review. So we'll see. Alright, what's the call going to be? Yep, still parry post for Ueno. That one felt pretty cut and dry. I don't have the slow motion in front of me, but yeah. Okay, so here we go again. Ueno takes the blade. Oh! If Ueno made an immediate riposte there, that probably would have been hers, no? But she instead decided to retreat and then try her own duck and counterattack, which duck and counterattacks have not really worked at all for either fencer this bout. Inez finishes long, but Ueno escapes and starts. Again, her blade is a little bit too far forward. She goes past Inez with her attempted beat attack. Okay, Ueno marches again. Inez giving her quite a bit of space. As before, she seems unafraid of... Oh, okay, there's the counterattack. Oh, tries it behind the back touch. Goes off target, though. That would have been epic. You don't see that from Inez every day. But when she does, it's always fun to see. Ooh, how do you call that one? Ugh, excuse me. Referee calls it for Ueno. I believe that. Ueno finishes short. Inez on the march again. Beat attack long. Goes past though. Ueno tried to pre-remise that time, but no lights at all. Like I said, close distance has not really been that great for either fencer here. It is a pretty safe way, if I'm honest, of just ending the phrase. Ueno on the back. Finishes... man. Still no light, and Inez's counterattack is off target. I still don't know how I feel about that scrunchy type counterattack. I know Inez didn't really have many other options there because she was so like stretched out in her lunge, but still. Oh, Ueno with interesting beat 4 coupe to the front shoulder ideas. Goes off target though. I do like that line change from her though. Finishes straight, and there's a ducking counterattack, but again Inez finishes off target. Oh man, I kind of like give it up. It's ducking counterattacks have not really worked at all. Except for Inez as a setup for a parry post inadvertently when the first one failed. And with 11 seconds on the clock, they both salute, and we go to our second break. So, this bout hasn't actually evolved tactically that much. Like, the close distance stuff is still pretty much a toss-up, and it's usually resulted in no one hitting. Those few counterattacks that Ueno really made work towards the end of the first period, she hasn't really been able to replicate. Inez has been marching pretty safely, actually. Although when she does decide to finish, she's been having some trouble hitting herself. And honestly, the same is true for Ueno. The few times that Ueno's felt at her most comfortable, to me, have been when she's been pushing Inez back to her end of the strip. And Inez kind of has to flail for the blade. I feel like Ueno might have a chance to just disengage through that if she can do it cleanly enough. On the other hand, it's pretty hard to make Inez do what you want. She's usually going to do her own thing no matter what happens. But still, Inez is down critically against a 16-year-old Ueno. And we do know that she wins this bout, as I said before, so we'll see what she does to claw her way back. She's been kind of doing it mostly by kind of a spammy sort of strategy of just going for attacks, counterattacks, and eventually some of them will work, and she'll just like a few more work than don't. And by, I guess, the law of averages, she eventually wins. Which, to be fair, if she kind of falls back on her fencer's intuition, I feel like with the amount of experience she has over Ueno, that'll tend to favor her in the long run. So perhaps not an unwise strategy. Although Ueno is certainly making a fight of it. Okay, Inez tries to finish in close again. Ueno goes for another pretty close distance counterattack. And again, neither fencer really able to hit at that distance. Oh, again, Ueno finishes too long. That's really been her Achilles heel this bout. She's got a very long and very strong advanced lunge, but if Inez just isn't where she expects, then she overshoots the target. Inez trying a foreflick, tries to remise and preem again, but misses, and Ueno hits her remise. Or her counterattack, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, Ueno marches again. Taking the blade. Finishes long again, right into Inez's parry that time. So actually, she did the kind of similar thing as before, beat in 4, coupe to the front shoulder, but Inez caught it in 6, and again her pre-remise is off, pre-riposte is off target. Again, Ueno feels like she's finishing a bit too long for this distance. It'd be great if Inez were to run away, but she's just not. Attempted parry post in close by Ueno, and it again devolves just into infighting. Okay, attack off line by Inez that Ueno parries and eventually goes off target again. Seems like she's really favoring that front shoulder line again, and that time she hit Inez in the arm. Maybe a bit painfully. Good sportsmanship. Looks like Inez might take an injury timeout for this. Didn't look like that bad of a hit. Maybe she got hit in the funny bone. That has happened to me a few times, and it is the absolute worst feeling ever. Well, maybe not quite the worst feeling ever, but it is a terrible feeling. It does make it also quite hard to grip the foil immediately afterwards. Alright, looks like they're going to have a look. It may also be a cramp from Inez, I don't know. Alright, and we're back. Okay, Ueno marches, finishes, okay. Inez finishes long. That time she hit. Again, that lunge feels very long for the distance that Ueno was standing at. But Inez is still able to find the target. For once, you might say. Still favoring that low outside line. Marches in 4, finishes. That time kind of Inez did Ueno's line right back at her. Marched in 4 and then finished to the front shoulder. Went off target though. Ueno tried to stop hit. Ueno's parry post off target. Right off the line. Okay. Bounce in, bounce out. Ueno marches. I see 2 off target lights on the bottom, but okay. Ueno again with a long lunge. That time Inez again. When Inez is stationary, she seems to have the best blade work. That time she just stayed put. Ueno lunged right into her and got a pretty nice lockout with a counterattack. And now we're tied up. Okay, Inez finishes long again. Ueno escapes. She knows that. Also, it feels like Ueno knows that it's going to be low outside line again. That's probably Ueno's beat attack. Or is it not? I think the referee might be looking at the slow motion of his own volition. Yeah, I'm replaying that touch in my mind, and I'm pretty sure it was just one blade contact for Ueno, which would be her beat. So we'll see what the referee says. Yep, it's Ueno's beat attack. Inez says there were 2. I didn't hear that or really see it, so perhaps it was what she'd hoped was the case, not what actually happened. Okay. So Ueno was up 11-10. Inez again finishes long, but Ueno was able to escape it pretty reliably. Oh man, barely short is Ueno. And slightly off target. Inez switches weapons. Interesting time to do that. Yeah, I feel like if she were going to do something like that psychologically, she may have done it sooner when Ueno was getting up in score so much towards the first period. Doing it now, I'm not sure if she actually thinks that her weapon has a problem, but this doesn't really feel like a great tactical position to switch weapons in. Like, Ueno doesn't have that much momentum. She just got one touch. There's not much to break up here. And it doesn't really feel, honestly, like Inez needs that much to think about. She's been doing a lot of the right stuff and just missing more than she maybe should be, but like, her tactics have been fine, honestly. Again, finishes long, Ueno escapes, starts marching. Counterattack attempted by Inez, infighting, and she gets it. Ueno trying a touch behind the head, but no dice. So again, that close distance situation isn't great for both fencers, but that time Inez was able to scrape it out, probably because she was the one deciding to collapse the distance there, not Ueno. So she had a slight initiative advantage there. Ueno tries a long attack off the line, but goes off target. Okay. Inez marches. Ueno breaks inside the distance, but Inez just goes right past her, so they can't really do anything at that point. That's an interesting tendency of Inez as well. Oh! Ooh. Okay. Like, if she's in a situation she doesn't like, she just goes a little bit faster so that she ends up past her opponent, and then Halls is called. So she doesn't have to infight it out if she doesn't want to. Alright, Ueno keeps marching. Oh, another counterattack by Inez with a closeout. To be fair, that didn't feel like Ueno's like full power of finish, and if she had finished a little bit sooner, I think she would have been immune to that. But perhaps a bit of a misjudging of how much Inez was sneaking up on her distance there. Ueno marches again. Inez takes it over, beating the blade a little bit. Speeding up, finishes long, Ueno parries it. Now Ueno starts. Counter time this time, very nice change. Inez has gotten a few of those counterattacks recently, so Ueno decides, instead of trying to finish into it, which hasn't worked, she just stops, takes the blade again, and a very nice riposte in close. It's a classic and very textbook example of when to use counter time. If your opponent's counterattacking you a lot and you haven't been able to finish into it, counter time is always a great option. We might see then Inez go for the next step, which would be false counterattack into parry riposte. So let the counter time happen, then take the blade back. Inez going for a tactical shutai, or possibly just a shutai because she needs to. I do feel like this is probably a better time to waste a little bit more time before you fence again. If anything, it might give Ueno a little bit more time to second guess herself. If she wants to go for counter time again or try to finish again, who knows? Let's see. Ueno marches. What's Inez going to do? Counterattack again. Ueno, I guess she found the blade there? The referee called halt before that, though. Yeah. Somewhat unfortunate. That was actually pretty nice infighting by Inez, but I guess they core happened before she could hit. Ueno marches again. Another ducking counterattack by Inez, but again, Ueno catches her. That's like, what, 4 times she's tried it, and it's only worked once as like an inadvertent second intention? Another premier mise by Inez, but goes off target. Okay, Inez finishes long right into Inez's... Ueno finishes long right into Inez's parry. Inez goes off target again, though. Okay, Inez marches. Ueno getting a little close on defense. Escapes, though, when the finish comes. Now starts marching herself. What's Inez going to do this time? Okay, Inez marches again. Ueno tries a stepping and counterattack with a twist, but Inez has it. Okay. So Ueno's kind of running out of defensive options here, honestly. Like, that counter time and that that she got was great, but she can't really use it if Inez doesn't let her march. More infighting here. That's got to go to the left. Yep. And Inez definitely took the blade last there. In fact, I think she took it twice before she hit, just to make sure. But yeah, looks like Inez is starting to rule the close distance situation when that comes up now. Ueno marches. Long, great tempo changes by Ueno, actually, to make sure she stayed in distance, but also to be safe if Inez tried to step in. Unfortunately, again, she finishes off target. There's been a lot of like beautiful looking attacks that just end off target this bout. Okay, Ueno keeps marching. Takes the blade. Again, kind of a counter time looking thing. Inez was counterattacking right into Ueno's closed line. Goes off target. Okay, more infighting. Oh dear, yeah. Still not great. Honestly, Ueno could have tried to step past there. She had time to. Okay, Burden is... Oh, that's going to be Ueno's attack. No, no. No, that's Ueno's touch. You can ask for video review, but that one was pretty clear. Now, critically, Ueno is still down in score, but there are 46 seconds left. And 1 point difference in this situation is not nearly as bad as 2. But in women's foil especially, the amount of time it takes to set up a clean touch can drag out pretty long, actually. So, although 46 seconds is a very long time to be fencing, the end of the time might be a very big factor in the last few phases of this bout. And yep, the referee does uphold that touch. I don't know why Inez even asked for video review. I mean, I guess the score is so high that she really wants it, but that one was pretty clear. Okay, 14-13. Let's see if Ueno can tie it up, or if Inez is going to win. Ueno marches. No, she misses! And Inez steps in with the counterattack again. And of course, we knew Inez was going to win this bout, but like I said, despite being about half her age, Ueno made a great show of it, being 16 against, I think, at the time, I think Inez was 29 at the time. So, very nice by her. And we will hopefully see a lot more of her in the future. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to probably do another recommendation from the website next. So, stick around until then, and as always, stay sharp.